My wife posted her engagement photo with her assistant, so I commented, "Congrats," just tagging our divorce lawyer. What happened next shocked everyone. I 34 and married for 8 years. Never imagined that my life would shatter with a single Facebook notification. It was just another ordinary lunch break when I opened my phone and started scrolling aimlessly through my feed, trying to distract myself from work. Then suddenly my blood turned cold. There she was, my wife, her radiant smile filling the screen as if the universe itself was mocking me. She wore that white sundress I'd bought her for our anniversary just last month. The same one she'd said made her feel special. Only this time, she wasn't smiling at me. She stood beside her assistant from the marketing firm, his arm wrapped possessively around her waist. Both looked ecstatic, faces glowing with the kind of happiness I hadn't seen from her in months. And then, in bold letters beneath the photo, were the words that pierced through my chest like a blade. I said yes. At first, I thought I was misreading it, that maybe it was a joke or a work prank. But then I saw it, the ring on her finger. Not the simple, elegant one I'd given her 8 years ago, but a larger, flashier diamond, the kind that screamed money, vanity, and betrayal. My hand started trembling so badly that I nearly dropped my phone. The caption beneath it talked about starting a new chapter, how she never expected to find love again. Love again. We'd had breakfast together that very morning. She'd kissed me on the cheek, told me she loved me, and walked out the door like everything was fine. I sat in my car, engine still running, eyes glued to that screen, waiting for the image to disappear like a bad dream. But it didn't. It stayed there, mocking me, telling me everything I needed to know without saying a word. Instead of exploding, something inside me went ice cold. I took screenshots, every angle, every comment, every tag. I saved them to my phone, my email, my cloud, everywhere. My heart was breaking, but my mind was calm. Then I did the unthinkable. I commented publicly on her post. "Congrats. Just tagging our divorce lawyer at Johnson Legal Services. Thanks for making this easy." Within seconds, notifications exploded. Her post vanished almost immediately after that, deleted like it never existed. But it was too late. The damage was done. I'd already sent the screenshots to her parents, the people who'd treated me like their own son since day one. My message to them was simple. "I'm so sorry you have to learn this way. I hope we can still stay in touch despite what she's done." Then I forwarded the same screenshots to my own family. My parents, my sister, even my brother-in-law, who, ironically, worked in the same building as her assistant. It wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. She'd made it public, so I let the truth be public too. 97 seconds later, my phone rang. Her number. Her voice shook as she screamed, "What are you doing? Please delete it, it's not what you think." I hang up. 2 minutes later, another call. This time, her tone was angry, furious. She accused me of ruining her life and embarrassing her at work. I hang up again. By the 5th call, her anger turned into sobs. She said it was a mistake, that she'd been confused, that she still loved me. She begged me to call her parents and tell them it was all a misunderstanding. When I finally picked up on the 6th call, her voice was so broken I barely recognized it. Between choked tears, she told me her parents were furious, that her father was on his way to confront her assistant, that her boss had seen the post before it was deleted, and had started asking questions about office relationships. She screamed, "How could you destroy 8 years of marriage over one mistake?" That's when something in me snapped. I said calmly, "I didn't destroy our marriage. You did the moment you said yes to another man while I was still wearing my wedding ring. You humiliated me publicly. Don't you dare call me heartless." Then I hang up. The rest of the day was a blur. I finished my work in silence, pretending everything was normal, even though my world had just imploded. That evening, I drove straight to my brother's house. When he opened the door, he looked at my face, said nothing, and handed me a beer. We sat outside in silence until midnight. His wife brought me a blanket and a plate of leftovers, her eyes full of pity but no questions. That night, I slept restlessly, haunted by the image of her wearing that white dress beside another man. The next morning, I woke up early, my heart feeling like lead. When I turned my phone back on, I saw 43 missed calls, dozens of texts, and voicemails from her and her family. Her father's message made me tear up. He said he was ashamed of her, that he'd always considered me his son, and that he hoped we could meet for coffee soon. Her mother simply said she was sorry and that she still loved me. By 8 in the morning, I was on the phone with the divorce lawyer I tagged. He'd already heard about it. Apparently my public comment had circulated around town. He was calm, efficient, and kind. We set up a meeting that afternoon. I left his office feeling numb but empowered. When I returned home to pack some clothes, I found her sitting at the kitchen table. Her eyes were swollen, her hair a mess. She looked like a shadow of the woman I once knew. She tried explaining herself, said it started as just a friendship, that she'd been feeling unseen, that the assistant had been persistent. She swore she'd end it, quit her job, do therapy, anything to earn forgiveness. But when I walked into the bedroom, I noticed our wedding photos were gone. Every frame, every memory. She admitted she'd hidden them weeks ago because they made her feel guilty. That's when I knew this wasn't a momentary mistake. It was a long, calculated betrayal. I packed my suitcase. She asked where I was going. I said quietly, "You'll hear from my attorney." The following weeks were a whirlwind of legal meetings, phone calls, and emotional fog. Word spread quickly among friends and family. Some reached out with sympathy, others with unwanted advice, that I should try to work it out, that 8 years can't end like this. They didn't understand. This wasn't just about cheating. It was about being publicly humiliated and lied to repeatedly. Her parents reached out often, kind, supportive, yet heartbroken. I assured them they weren't losing me as a person, only their daughter as a partner. My family, too, rallied around me. My brother helped me move into a new apartment, and my sister helped sort through shared belongings. Then, 3 weeks later, came the first update in my life. The divorce was officially underway. Because her public post served as concrete evidence of infidelity, the legal process was swift. We had no children, no messy finances, just assets to divide. She tried to contact me through friends, but I stood firm. All communication went through lawyers. A month later, I got a call that caught me completely off guard, from her assistant's wife. She introduced herself calmly, saying she'd found my number through a mutual contact. She wanted to thank me. Apparently, she'd discovered the affair around the same time I did, thanks to my Facebook comment. Her husband had denied everything until my screenshots circulated. They had been married for 12 years and had 3 children. She told me she was trying to save her family, but she understood why I chose divorce. We talked for an hour, sharing stories of lies, missed signs, and the bitter taste of betrayal. For the first time since the incident, I felt a strange sense of closure. Someone else understood my pain. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. It was civil, straightforward, almost peaceful compared to the storm that preceded it. I'd moved into a new apartment, thrown myself into work, and even earned a promotion. The pain had slowly transformed into clarity. Surprisingly, I started dating again carefully, slowly. A colleague introduced me to her sister, a woman honest, kind, and refreshingly open. We'd been seeing each other for a month. When she asked about my past, I told her everything. I expected her to judge me. Instead, she smiled and said, "You have boundaries. That's rare." Meanwhile, my ex-wife had moved away. I heard through mutual friends that she'd fallen into depression, attending therapy, regretting her choices. Her assistant, ironically, had reconciled with his wife, trying to rebuild their family. And me? I'd found peace. Sitting in my small apartment on a Sunday morning, drinking coffee, I realized that the post which once destroyed my life had actually freed me from a marriage that had been dying quietly long before. When my new girlfriend texted, inviting me to meet her family at a barbecue, I smiled genuinely. A year ago, I would have felt dread. Now, I felt excitement, the kind that comes from knowing you've survived the worst and come out stronger. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't making someone pay. It's refusing to let them define you. My wife's betrayal became the catalyst for my freedom. Those screenshots didn't just end a chapter. They started a new one. And looking back now, I wouldn't change a thing. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories that prove. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it also heals.